Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Mikulowski from ForexLive.com. Today's date is October 31st, 2023. This is a Kickstart video where I take a look at three of the major currency pairs, the euro versus US dollar, the dollar versus yen, and the sterling versus US dollar. So let's get started. I'm going to focus on the hourly chart here. And in trading yesterday to start the trading week, the price first initially moved to the downside and then tested this trend line down here. That was enough to kickstart the move to the upside for this currency pair. And you can see how the price held the 100-hour moving average here before moving to the upside and continuing to surge higher, extending above this swing area here between the 1.0608 and 1.0616. Recall from the daily chart, the 1.0610, which is within this area. Here's the daily chart. That level corresponds with the 38.2% retracement of the move up from the September 2022 low to the high price that we saw in July of 2023. So this level right here at 1.06106. Going back to our hourly chart, you can see that that level was indeed broken yesterday, and then it consolidated into the close, and we closed right near that 1.0610 level. The market moved lower in the early Asian session. Then we had the Bank of Japan come in, kept their rates unchanged. Also, didn't really go to that 1.5% target for the 10-year or ceiling for the 10-year, and as a result, we saw the all the yen crosses move sharply to the upside, and that forced the euro versus US dollar sharply higher as well. That move to the upside did stall ahead of the high price going back to October 23rd at 1.0677. The high price today reached 1.0674 before it started rotating to the downside. In the current hourly bar, we did get a further move to the downside, helped by the employment cost index in the U.S., which saw a gain of 1.1% versus 1.0%. The Federal Reserve meets tomorrow, and or today and tomorrow actually, but they make their decision at 2 p.m. tomorrow, and maybe the employment cost index may weigh on their decision, maybe not for the meeting decision tomorrow, but certainly or potentially for comments or going forward in the in December meeting. We'll all see, but certainly the dollar, the focus now rotates back to the U.S. dollar, and we are seeing a rotation more higher in the U.S. dollar against all the major currency pairs. So be aware of that. It's not just the dollar yen moving to the upside, but now the euro versus U.S. dollar sees the dollar moving higher as well. Okay, so on the downside, we do have the 38.2% retracement and back to that 1.0610 and swing area between the 08 and the 16 level through here that the market needs to get to and through on the downside to increase more of the bearish bias. Alternatively, we could see support buyers come in against this level and force the market back to the upside, maybe toward this swing area between the 31 and 39 level, get above that level, opens the door for further upside. If we are able to continue this move to the downside ahead of the FOMC rate decision, the 50% retracement of this most recent move to the upside, I guess it's not really the October range, but we've seen a lot of up and down price action. But 105.94 and then the rising 200-hour moving average at 105.88 would be a level that would be more neutral ahead of the FOMC rate decision. So keep all those levels in mind, but keep this 106.10-ish type area as a key barometer on the downside now for intraday. If we go below it, it's more bearish. If we stay above it, I don't think we go up to the highs again, but we might look to break above the 106.39 level. That would open the door a little bit more for more upside. But remember, we do have that FOMC rate decision tomorrow. Let's take a look at the dollar versus yen next, and we, as mentioned, the Bank of Japan interest rate decision was a bit disappointing for those thinking that they might look to shift policy a little bit more to the tightening side. Not to be at least the expectations, and we saw the dollar versus yen surge to the upside after falling over the last few trading days, down lower with the low price yesterday, reached down toward the swing low going back to October 17th here at the 148.73. The low price came in at 143.797 before rotating higher. We tried to stall above at the broken 61.8% retracement of the move up from this low here to the high price that we saw right here. But once we broke above that level, we started to rotate even higher and get above the 50% retracement. That rate decision comes out. We see the surge above the 100 and 200 hour moving average. A nice hold here at the 200 hour moving average gave the buyers the go ahead to push higher, and we've extended even higher in the last few minutes with the employment cost index. We've seen the price move above the 2023 high price of 105.77. That is, and currently trading at 105.92. So moving toward the 151 level. Close support will now be the old high at 105.77. Where do we stand on the daily chart? Well, if you look at the daily chart, we go back to this high, going back to that is October 21st, 2022. That level came in at 151.93. There's really nothing in the way until we head up toward that level. So be aware. It's open road ahead now above the 105.77 level. So be aware of that. If I were to put this on this is a daily. So if I put this on a weekly chart, or if I even put it on a monthly chart, because it looks like we're going to go even further. The price high is the highest level going back to decades. So be aware of that. The dollar yen is trading at near decade highs, or near decade highs, going back to at least 2022. So be aware of that. Let's take a look at the sterling versus the US dollar next. And on the hourly chart, we are seeing, as I mentioned, a rotation back to the downside here, but more dollar buying after dollar selling, and flows into things like sterling yen and euro yen and so on and so forth after the Bank of Japan decision. So now we're seeing the focus back on the US dollar, heading back toward this swing area between 121.57 and 121.67. As you can see, we're trying to hold support against the low of that. Below that, we have the 200-hour moving average. That level comes in at 121.48, and we'll watch that level going forward. If we break below that level, we're in between the 100 and 200-hour moving averages, which is a more neutral area. But for the sterling versus US dollar, lots of ups and downs continue to dominate in this currency pair. By the way, the high price out here today did fall short of the 61.8 of the last move to the downside here. So, and we're back below the 50%. So things are sort of tilting back a little bit more to the downside, but we do have those 100 and 200-hour moving averages to contend with. So there you have a look at some of the major currency pairs. So Kickstart your Forex trading day for October 31st, last day of the trading month. My name is Greg Michalowski. Boo! And good fortune with your trading. Bye-bye now.